good, everybody? It's Kayla Got the 411. I'm back for another What's Good episode. I'm here with Good Boy. Good Boy, how are you doing? Well, what's good? I always ask people what's good with you since the segment is called What's Good.
Yeah. Nothing, I'm just chilling. I'm in Los Angeles right now. Um, and yeah, just honestly enjoying the sun and the waves and a
Look at
lot of
you.
yeah, a lot of good people out here too, which is really nice to be around.
You know what's a fun fact? I have not been to California yet. And I said when I go there, I want to go there for like business.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And nightlife. I want to have like a reason to go there instead of like, okay, I'm just going there to go to the beach. I want to go there for like business and then be able to go out and go to the beach and go to the nightlife. But you're from Colorado originally, right? So what's like the difference? Like, do you have a different vibe as far as musically being out there in LA?
Yeah, so where I'm from in Colorado, I'm from a town called Boulder. And a lot of the people there are actually from California. It's like a very common place to travel, like
Okay.
from California, move there, have kids or whatever. So the attitude and like the lifestyle is pretty similar where I'm from. But what I do love about LA is, especially when you like start to get to know it a little bit, is there's just so many artists and people just like trying to chase their dreams in whatever way. And yeah, so like even yesterday, I was just hanging out with my friend making music, and there's like some kid painting shoes hanging out there who's also like a singer, and there's
Let's go.
yeah, and there's like just like actors, and some of my best friends out here make movies and stuff. So it's kind of cool. I like the aspect of like out here, definitely a lot of arts, which is nice.
I agree. Even living in Atlanta, just being around a lot of creatives, it just makes you feel like okay, I'm around people that actually get me. And sometimes that's a little bit more encouraging as well, especially in this type of industry, whether it's music, entertainment, acting, there's a lot of rejections that comes with it. So being around people that can give you advice and understanding, I know that's so much better. But how's your mental health doing? I love asking you artists that because sometimes when you ask people what's good with you, sometimes they're not always good. So how have you been mentally?
Yeah, I've also been mentally doing good. I think I'm doing good because I'm like working at just kind of being really present. I was living in Hawaii for the winter, and I went from living in Hawaii to hanging out in LA to then being in Boulder at my parents' house, and it was a little bit taxing on my mental.
I bet.
Yeah, but I've settled in a little bit more, and yeah, it's honestly the summer has been very nice. I've been getting in the water a lot, so that's been helping me. So I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
That's good. Now I'm always intrigued with artists, journey on how you got started. So tell me, when was it for you, or you realized, you know what, this music thing, I can really take this seriously.
Yeah, well, so it's interesting. When I was growing up, I was involved in like bands and stuff. I played
Mhm.
guitar and drums, and I always loved jamming with my brother. He plays guitar as well. So I was doing that growing up, but actually when I got into high school, I basically stopped entirely. Like didn't do like I used to do choir, kind of stopped that, stopped playing music, was basically focused on like sports and maybe a little bit too much partying. But it actually what happened was I ended up kind of through a string of events. I got kicked out of school and I was in a bunch of trouble, and I was just kind of like a
Mm.
troublemaker kid, and I was at home all the time and I was so bored, like so bored. And so I got inspired one day just to play piano. And I was young, I was about 17, and I was realizing I was like, I can do whatever I want. Like who's to
Mhm.
say what you can and can't be? So I started playing piano, and it wasn't really with any intention. It was just like I'm bored.
Great.
And with that, it kind of started growing. And I went to college not for music or anything. And when I was in college, I was playing piano on the side, and I started noticing like the only time I was excited about like learning was piano. So it started building and building, and then yeah, like over time, piano became my focus. And then I was like, I'm really gonna chase this music thing. And then I started production, and yeah, over time now I'm here like fully a producer, and it's been crazy.
That explains it a lot. You are an actual musician. And I always say there's a difference between artists and musicians because you actually play the piano, the guitar, like you understand the sounds of music, which explains why your music can like, do you consider yourself a hip hop artist, an EDM artist? Because I hear like R&B, I hear pop, I hear EDM, I hear hip hop, I hear all of that from your music. Like, what do you consider yourself?
Yeah, I would say I make simply I make hip hop inspired electronic music.
Mhm.
But definitely, I think the reason that you hear all those inspirations is I do my own artist project with Good Boy and stuff, but I'm making all sorts of music all the time. So I write piano, I write songs on the piano and I sing. I make hip hop beats for other rappers. I help mix and master stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. So like Good Boy is kind of my little brainchild, you know, but it's also in a sense like my business card for making other music and working with other people because I just love making music, you know, of all sorts. So yeah.
See, that's a fun fact. I did not know you was actually a producer. I'm shocked because I've had a lot of producers on here, and I just think that producers are kind of like they make artists, right? Don't you think like we have all these auto tune and things like that? Like, what would artists be without producers and engineers? But you're able to actually produce your own music. That's intriguing. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay. So what did you originally like? So you was actually going on the path of like, okay, sports. Was sports like what they were trying to steer you in? Because a lot of artists on this show say that.
Yeah, yeah. I was really into sports. I also know there's a lot of connection between sports and the music like process. I mean, it's this I always enjoyed like getting after something every day and have I mean, I think performances are kind of like the game or whatever, you know, you're like getting all excited and kind of like I like that aspect, but yeah, I was into sports and when I went to college, I was thinking like I'm just going to do like business. I was always into like, you know, like stocks and like that simple kind of like, oh, I want to be a hustler and all that stuff, but like I said, as I was doing it, I was like getting this feeling. I remember vividly, I was in accounting class and I was like sitting down in accounting class and I was like, I hate this. And it was a special day because I sat there and I was like, I hate this. And so I just got up and I left the class like mid lecture and I went and I biked on campus to the piano that I would go play at this church and I just went and played and that was like that was such a big day for me because I was like I'm not gonna do what everyone is telling me to do like I'm gonna go
Exactly.
what I want, you know.
That's so brave because even when I went to school, right, I got to those like I'm a creative. When it comes to like marketing and business, I'm like, what are you talking about? I remember just sitting in class like I can't do this. I can't do this. And like in your mind, I didn't get up and leave. Like I wish I should have left. I kind of just, just left, never came back that Monday. But I feel like that's a great thing about, the generation behind me, Gen X. You all are just fearless. And I feel like these days it's like there's so many opportunities for us. Like you don't have to do what society wants you to do. You hear those things like either go to the army, or go to college, be a doctor. It's like it's so much easier to do what you want to do and you can make money from it. Like that's the biggest blessing is to me also. So your new EP is expecting, like, do you have a date for it? It's going to be called Love Letter, right?
Yeah, so the EP's titled Love Letter, and I do have a date. I haven't officially announced it yet, so I'm not gonna say exactly when. But it
Mm-hmm.
will be sometime in November. And yeah, this was so I released the first single. The next single is coming out in October, and then the EP will come out, like I said, in November. Yeah, really excited about it.
Oh, now what was the whole creative process behind it? Even like naming it Love Letters, like it sounds like it's going to be something, romantic, something for the lovers. Like, what was the whole creative process behind it?
Yeah, it's funny. So first of all, it's called Love Letter, but I would say it's probably the least like love. Um, it's funny. It's not love in the way I think that most people would read into that
Yeah.
as. The love letter aspect is actually it's kind of a love letter between myself and the universe and like the artist and like the divine or whatever. And yeah, the process of it is I wrote the EP. It's so crazy. I wrote it like a year and a half ago. But so I wrote a bunch of music, and a year and a half ago, like I had this work and I've been working on a bunch of music, but it wasn't until about maybe 6 months ago I realized I was like, this is an EP, and I was still working on it. And I only recently finished it. And so the process was kind of crazy because it was kind of like this creation I had that I wasn't sure. I knew what I wanted it to turn into, but I didn't know how I could get it there.
Right.
And yeah, so it took like a year and a half, and I ended up working with some really cool artists who, and a lot of cool people who helped me make it what it's going to be. And yeah, and so yeah, it's kind of a love letter to the universe, and also there's some interesting songs about love letters that are definitely not like, I would say, romantic, but yeah.
I'm looking forward to listening to it. Like I thought, I was like, oh, he about to be like making something for the ladies, but I think that's a different aspect as well too. Like you said, it is pretty much like a letter to yourself from the universe. That's deep for you to be so young. I think that's very, very wise. Like now, you don't seem like the type of person that's like structure. Like, are you the type of creator where you just in the mood, you make your music? You're not the type of person that says, hey, this day I'm going to do like 3 songs. This day I'm going to do 2 songs. You do what you feel. Are you that type of artist?
Yeah, it's funny. I try to be the second one of like, this day I'll do that, I'll get this done by then, and I end up being an artist who's up at 3 a.m. writing a song on the day where I probably shouldn't be. But I honestly try to have some balance within a little bit of the both. So I try to set time aside definitely to create, but also keep in mind that like you can't force things.
Yes.
You know, and honestly, the biggest thing this last, excuse me, year that I had to learn was you can't always decide when things get finished, but you can decide the due dates of things. And that
Mhm.
kind of helped me realize like, yeah, you can't always say like, I'm going to finish this tomorrow, but you can say it's due tomorrow, so it's going to be finished tomorrow, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. I'm the same way too. Yeah, I can't. It's a little bit more organized, but I feel like when you're a true creative, you just gotta let it flow and just let it come how it is. Because anytime I set a deadline, I get stressed out. You get stressed out like that, it's too much.
Yeah, I actually I love the feeling of like, I don't know how I'm gonna figure this out, but I need to. Like I love it. So I'd say I'm perpetually in the state of like, even like right now as we're talking, it's like there's things that I have planned in the future that are gonna happen, like with the Good Boy project, that I don't know how I'm gonna get from where I am now to them those things happening, you know, but they
Right.
keep happening. So like it works, but yeah, it is a perpetual like, how's this gonna work out? But yeah, I
And
love
that's
it.
when you make your best work too, like, letting it happen when it's supposed to happen. Now, I found out that you have traveled to Jerusalem, London, Los Angeles, and Hawaii to all make music. Like, how was that? Like, what was your vibe? Like, did you do that purposely?
Yeah, some of them, those places. Yeah, those are that's funny. Those are some important places in my life. But yeah, so like I said, when I was in college, I dropped out to like kind of just play piano basically, and I was doing that, and I really got into production, but I didn't know how to produce. If like I was like, I think a lot of artists and people in general usually do a hobby and then start getting good at it and then decide, okay, this is what I want to do. I'll make money from it. But I had this deep feeling of like, no, I want to be a producer,
Right.
but I didn't know how to produce. So I decided to go anywhere in the world that would put me in the studio and I could work on music. And I ended up, through random events, I ended up in Jerusalem to work at a studio. And the yeah, so I went out there, and it was actually funny because the studio didn't work out at all. So I was just in Jerusalem, and but that was the beginning of me learning that it isn't really about like the equipment or any of that stuff. It's just kind of like who you want to be wherever you are. So I figured out that I could make music at a cafe, and that was the same with London. And I actually just got back from Hawaii, like I said, a few, like 6 months ago. But I was out there living in the middle of nowhere in the jungle on a farm, and I was making an
Really?
album. Yeah, and it was so magical. But yeah, so and I love going to new places and just meeting new people and yeah, just like being inspired, and really just not knowing what's gonna happen tomorrow. But I love that feeling.
Hmm. So you don't have to tell me the title, but is there one particular song that you created that you feel like, wow, like this is the best thing I ever did? You don't have to tell me the title just yet because I know the EP isn't out. But give me like a hint of it, like the vibe of it.
So wait, ask me that again.
So like when you was like traveling to make music, right? And I'm pretty sure you made a lot of music that you love, but what's one particular song that you kind of hold close to you, something that you feel like this is true magic?
Yeah. Okay. So I have a song coming out. It's on the EP,
I figured it.
and it's like crazy to even talk about. It is like it's not even that the song itself is like the most amazing thing. I mean, I love it, but the process of creating it was like the first time I wrote it in LA, and I actually had just had I talked to my therapist beforehand,
Mhm.
and I was like crying, and it's like the first time I had ever opened up about and this is part of like the love letter thing, it was the first time I had opened up about my relationship to sports, and how like I felt so sad that I never like properly said goodbye, because growing up as a you just kind of stop playing sports, and it was like such
Wow.
a stupid thing I thought to anybody else, but it really was deep. So I'm like crying to my therapist
Mhm.
about it, and yeah, so I ended up writing this song right after, and I took a bunch of sounds that I made from like people playing basketball, like the swish of the net and the squeaks of the shoes, and yeah,
Ooh.
and I made that song, and to this day, like it is such a banger, and I cannot wait to have people listen to it and also play it out. And yeah, it's not, I'm not gonna say it's the best song or my best song, because I think
It's sentimental.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that one
Sentimental
means a lot.
song. Mhm.
Yeah,
You know how
exactly.
some artists have that song? I think Summer Walker said it's like particular songs where they're like, it make you cry. in this,
Yeah.
in this, in your case, it's more like is it like a happy, but you still play sports, right? For fun, right?
It's not happy or sad. It is just a deep song. And, I have this vision. I remember I was listening to it one time when I was just starting to work on it, and I
Mhm.
was playing it in my apartment in LA, and I was playing it so loud. And I remember I was just dancing on my bed and screaming. And yeah, it's definitely not, I would not say it is happy or sad. It is deep and inspiring. And yeah, you'll just have to hear it.
Oh, I can't wait. I feel like every artist has that one. I love asking that question because I feel like every artist has that one song that kind of, it's just when you hear it, it just takes you somewhere. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, when they listen to it, they'll be able to agree to it as well. Now, I believe that as an artist, finding your own sound and knowing who you truly are helps navigate you confidently. Are you gaining support from many dope DJs and family? Like, what's the vibe been like since you've been doing music? Because currently you just put out your third single. So how has the support been? Because I heard a lot of DJs are really showing you love, and we need the support from the DJs.
Yeah, yeah. It's been cool. I really really try not to think too much about it, I guess, and like
Mhm.
care too much. But it's been really cool. I mean, I've been getting a lot of support from some cool guys. People hitting me up in my DMs, telling me what they think about my music, and I've started to
Oh.
work with some artists who like I wouldn't have thought would even know who I am. So it's kind of crazy, like to see that, and
Mhm.
but also with that being said, like even today it's kind of funny. I gotta like people will hit me up about my music, and I've had people be like, "Yo, like this is the sickest EDM song I've heard all year," and
Mhm.
I've also had like on the same day, like people hit me up being like, "Yo," or like commenting on the song like this is like so generic or whatever it is. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I don't take it too much, but it's been cool having support, and I'm so excited that people like are hearing and appreciate what I'm doing, because like I've been really excited about it for a long time, but it's cool seeing it like come to reality.
Mhm. And I always tell people this, like, you never know who's watching you. Like, even when you think like, nobody's watching, like, you'll be surprised, like, who's at home watching. Like, the girl that was on my show last week, like, her song was featured in a Netflix movie and they reached out to her. Like, she thought it was like a spam or something, or somebody trying to like get her. And it's so amazing how music, like, I've come across so many artists like through Spotify or like TikTok. Like, TikTok, there's so many amazing independent artists also. Now, you're currently independent, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a goal to get signed in the future?
I can genuinely say I don't have a goal to get signed in the future, and I have no idea where I'm headed. I guess my goals are my goals, and if a label will help me to get them, and help me with what my vision is, I'm definitely open to it. But for now, like, I'm not super keen on signing anything, like,
Yeah.
or at least my entire self. But I do have a label release coming out at the end of the year, which is pretty
Ooh.
exciting. But yeah, I would say right now I'm still pretty, like, I'm trying to really like do this on my own and see what I can do and kind of enjoy
I
my
agree.
freedom, you know?
Yeah, keyword freedom.
Yeah.
We hear too many artists, they get online, they start ranting, but I feel like just being an independent, it doesn't feel good, like knowing that, okay, I did this, like I put this together on my own. And then it helps you learn your worth too, because now you know your worth. You know that if you were able to do it, then anybody that approaches you to sign you, like, they better come correct.
Yeah, totally,
Make sure you
totally.
have everything because you've already done it yourself. And I'm going to ask you a few questions that's fun just to get to know you. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you prefer to text or call?
call for sure.
Yeah, because we did have our, meet because we actually spoke on the phone, which I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I think you're like,
FaceTime.
yeah, FaceTime. I'm a FaceTime person too. Like, I don't like texting. When I meet somebody and we keep texting, it gives me anxiety. Like, I need to see your face.
Yeah, same.
I need to see your face. Next, are you a lover boy or a playboy?
I'm definitely a lover boy, but I do love to play. But yes.
Next, beach life or mountain life? I think I know what you're going to say now.
Oh, so brutal, but I have to say mountain life because yeah,
Listen,
I love beach life. I love it so much, and I would say they're like, I want to say 50-50, but at the end of the day, like, there's nothing I love more than going to the mountains and just jumping in the creek.
oh, I really thought you was going to say beach life since you're in LA. So next, hip hop or EDM?
Whew. To listen, I'm gonna say hip hop. To make, I'm gonna say EDM. But I love listening to both and making both.
I love EDM music. I know that's very surprising to people. I just think it takes a lot of work to really master that genre as a producer. And I think that's why a lot of producers are scared to touch it. Like, you really have to be skilled to be able to do it. Don't you think so? I
Yeah, it
think hip
is.
hop, you can really do some drums with hip hop, boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden, it's a hit, right?
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I don't really listen to EDM is sometimes it makes me feel bad. I'm like, oh my God, how are you so good at what you do? But hip
Right.
hop, I love how simple hip hop is, and I love how raw. I love the raw feeling of hip hop.
Mhm. Yes. Next, if you could talk to your past self, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to trust the process, and I would also say to jump, and the universe will catch you. I think it took me a long time to realize that, but you just got to jump, and someone will somehow catch you.
Mhm. Great. That's great advice for everyone. And how did you even get the name Good Boy?
Yeah. So I don't even know, like, when. I think it was right when I had started producing. I had basically, like, it comes from two places. So the first place is my last name. Um, the beginning of it is GUD. So I kind of wanted to play off that. But the real, like, I guess, place it came from was, like I talked about before, music kind of was my escape from where I was when I was getting in trouble a lot as a kid. And I noticed that it kind of, like, transformed me into like a pure person. And I found that the only way I could, make good music was to be a good person. So I kind of wanted to create a brand and an image of like that, like pure goodness. So that's kind of where it came from, as Good Boy, of just like being good.
I like that. It's catchy, and I love the way it's spelled too. It's so different. Now you actually have a new single out, and like I really, really love that single. Like when I listen to all of your songs, you have 3 songs out currently, and I just really kept going back to that song. So, like, what was the inspiration behind that song? And do you use personal experiences to write your music?
Yeah, totally. So my most recent single was called "I Can't Love You," and that was like I said, that's the first single off the EP. And yeah, that one is that was all about like, I mean, not to be too specific, but I was living in LA, and I was just like dealing with people and situations where I felt like they were just so like holding me back, sort of. And I was like giving myself to like, whatever, girls, and my just my situation, and I knew that it was like taken away from who I wanted to be and who I was supposed to be. And so it's kind
Dream.
of like I wrote that song kind of as like a like, okay, I can't love you, I can't be in this anymore, I have to do me. And yeah, so, and then I worked with these boys called the Crush Boys, a couple of artists, and I told them what I was working for on the song, and I wrote the hook and I sang some on it, and then I was like, you guys just do the rest, and then they killed it. And so yeah, now we have it.
Yes, that's amazing. I think it's so important for men. Like if you're in a situation and it's not good for you to really just walk away. I don't know why we as society really make men feel bad when they say, you know what, I can't do this.
Yeah, yeah, and
I really hate that because I would appreciate a guy telling me, you know what, I gotta get me together. I gotta focus on me. I appreciate things like that. Maybe because I'm an honest person. What's your zodiac sign?
my zodiac, is that like my star sign?
Yeah.
I am a Capricorn.
So you're January, your birthday must be January.
It's the end of December.
Oh, okay. So you're close. Oh,
What are
that's
you?
cool. I'm a Libra.
Okay, when is that?
September 28th. Actually, my birthday's next week.
Oh, let's go.
Almost forgot. Geez, almost forgot. So I think
Nice.
that's really, really important too, to just have a song like that, pretty much just focusing on you. And I feel like any woman, look, this is just a little Kayla Got the phone one advice. It's time for you to get yourself together because you're still young. So, focus on you. That's just Kayla Got the
Yes.
phone one advice. So now we towards the end, I believe in manifestation. So, we're gonna manifest something that I know it's not really your thing, but let's manifest something that's gonna happen next year by this time. Could be like a music video. Hey.
Yeah, yeah. Next year at this time, I'd really like to get on a tour of some sort, and start playing in more places than just like where I live. So that's
Mhm.
what I'm manifesting, is playing playing around town, playing around other towns, stuff like that.
I think that's possible. Like these festivals are like, I think they really support independent artists. And so I definitely see that for you. I see that for you by spring.
Yeah, let's do it. All right.
Yeah. So thank you so much. We are at the end of the video. Not video, but the interview. Like, how was that? Cool, chill, like simple, quick. Told you.
Yeah, so nice. It's great talking to you. I love your energy.